Have you ever gone hiking somewhere so quiet, so remote that the silence itself starts to feel alive? That's the kind of silence I'm talking about. The kind that makes you question if you're really alone, or if something else is out there watching, waiting. This story takes place in the Olympic National Forest in Washington, one of the largest stretches of wilderness in the country. Miles of trees, fog rolling through the valleys, and a reputation for being both beautiful and unsettling. People go missing there more often than you'd like to believe. My friend Tyler and I learned that the hard way one summer, and I've never looked at a forest the same way since. Tyler and I had been close since college. We both loved the outdoors, and he had this idea of pushing deeper into trails that weren't marked on official maps. It was late July when we set out planning a 3-day hike. We parked near Lake Canoe, shouldered our packs, and started walking. The air smelled of pine and damp earth, and the sunlight filtered through the canopy like a green cathedral. Everything was perfect, at least in the beginning. By the second day, we'd gone far enough off trail that even my GPS app lost signal. Tyler thought it was exciting. I didn't. Still, I trusted him. He carried the compass, and he swore he had scouted the route online. That night, as we set up camp near a shallow stream, I remember telling him the woods felt too quiet, like all the crickets and frogs had vanished. He laughed it off, saying, "Man, you're letting your imagination win." But then, after midnight, I woke up. I thought I heard footsteps outside the tent. Slow, deliberate, crunching over the undergrowth. At first I assumed it was Tyler going to relieve himself, but then I saw his sleeping bag right next to me. He was still inside, breathing deeply. I froze, my heart pounding. The sound lingered, circling the tent, and then stopped. When I finally worked up the nerve to peek outside with a flashlight, there was nothing. Just the trees swaying in the windless night. I lay awake until morning, too afraid to close my eyes again. The next day, Tyler noticed how exhausted I looked, so I told him. Instead of brushing it off, he got serious. "Funny you say that," he admitted. "I thought I saw someone yesterday, up on a ridge. Just for a second, like a tall figure watching us. When I looked again, they were gone." That's when the mood shifted. We both tried to act normal, but we walked faster, like something unseen was driving us forward. Around noon, we stumbled across something that didn't belong. In the middle of the woods was a wooden structure, an arch made of branches lashed together with rope. Hanging from it were animal bones, maybe deer, rattling in the breeze. It looked like something straight out of a nightmare. Tyler, being reckless, wanted to walk under it. I yanked him back. "Are you insane?" I whispered. "That's not random. Someone made that." He finally agreed, but I could tell he was curious. We detoured around it and kept hiking, but no matter how far we walked, it felt like we weren't making progress. The trees all looked the same. The trail beneath our boots seemed to twist in circles. Hours passed before we realized we had somehow come right back to that same bone arch. That's when panic set in. Tyler dropped his pack and pulled out the compass, but the needle spun uselessly like it was broken. I pulled out my phone. No signal, not even a flicker of a bar. The forest felt heavier, darker, like the sun itself was dimming. That night, we didn't light a fire. We sat in silence, listening. The footsteps came again, closer this time. We could hear them crunching leaves just beyond the glow of Tyler's headlamp. Then, from the shadows, a voice whispered. Clear, human, but wrong. It sounded like a woman saying, "Don't leave." We bolted into the tent, zipped it shut, and sat pressed against each other, knives in hand. The whisper came again, circling us, but when I gathered the courage to peek out, the forest was empty. By morning, Tyler was convinced we needed to push west until we hit a logging road. We packed quickly and started moving, not stopping for food or rest. But the forest didn't want to let us go. I swear the trail itself changed. Landmarks disappeared. The sound of running water came from every direction, disorienting us. By late afternoon, we stumbled into a clearing we hadn't seen before. In the center was a massive cedar tree, its trunk hollowed at the base. Inside there were carvings, hundreds of handprints etched into the wood, small and large, overlapping like a mosaic. Some of them were fresh. That's when Tyler lost it. He started shouting into the trees, demanding to know who was following us. His voice echoed, but there was no reply. He stepped toward the cedar tree, his hand reaching for the carved handprints like he was hypnotized. I grabbed his arm and pulled him back, yelling at him to snap out of it. That's when we both heard it, the sound of dozens of voices whispering all at once. Male, female, childlike. They overlapped in a low chorus, impossible to make out but crawling under our skin. We ran. I don't remember how long or how far, only that when we finally burst out of the trees, we found ourselves standing on a dirt road. Relief hit me like a tidal wave, but when I turned to Tyler, he wasn't smiling. He was pale, his eyes fixed on the forest behind us. I followed his gaze. At the tree line stood a figure, tall, thin, wearing what looked like a hood made of bark and moss. Its head tilted slowly the same way an animal studies prey, and behind it, in the shadows, dozens of pale hands pressed against the trees, just barely visible. I blinked, and they were gone. A ranger's truck found us about an hour later. We claimed we got lost, nothing more. What else could we say? They would have laughed us out of the forest station if we told the truth. Tyler never spoke of it again. He moved to Arizona and gave up hiking altogether. As for me, I still think about those handprints etched into that cedar tree, waiting for new ones to join them. And sometimes, late at night, I swear I hear that whisper again. Don't leave!